Hello everyone, it's Tonya with Scribbles in Time. I'm going to do a flip through today. I'm back. It's been a few weeks since I filmed a video, and I will try to make this one as short as I can, but I do have a lot of stuff I'm trying to pack into this video. But I like, initially I'm going to go ahead and do a flip through of this journal. I like to do that if anyone's on my Etsy and they want to see a better representation of the book. They have a way to come over and see a flip through. After this flip through, I kind of have a couple of other things I'll kind of talk about. If I don't get sidetracked and start talking about them first, I tend to do that. But anyway, so the name of this journal is Bouquet, and I've titled her Bouquet because on the front she has a beautiful pin of a bouquet of flowers, and it is gold tone, and so I've surrounded it with a gold tone metal frame, oval, and a number plate. And then I've done all my typical layering that I love to do with the book covers and papers, the cardboard. This is, I typically use cheesecloth, but I love Kay Comer. She has an amazing Facebook group called Junk Journals from Grandma with Love. I've mentioned her before, but she is just such a dear person. She writes so well. She tells amazing stories on her Facebook. And anyway, she makes amazing journals, and she uses this stuff, and she calls it creepy cloth. And it kind of is like a very loose woven cheesecloth. I don't even know if it's in the cheesecloth family. Does cheesecloth have a family? Anyway, it's like a loosely woven cheesecloth, and I love it. So thank you, Kay, if you're watching my video. Thank you for that inspiration to get some of that. Love it. And on the bottom of here is some beautiful lace. Love this old lace. And when you flip that up, you can see the book covers and a little paper layered there. Kind of hold this up close so you can see up close what she looks like. I still have ink on my hands, literally just finished her. So from the side, I've done the layered spine look. The back is very grungy. Okay, from the top, the side, and the bottom. So one of the things that I've been up to, a few weeks ago, we went on our first trip since COVID, and that was kind of interesting. We went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Beautiful there, my first time going, and it was a little bit surreal. I think it was Kay I was messaging with, and I was talking about how, you know, everyone's walking around in masks, and it's just, that's sad to me. Obviously it's a necessary thing right now, and you know, totally we were in masks as well. It just was sad. It was our first trip, and the reality just really hit home. I guess with me being sheltered in place, I just don't get out a whole lot, and it just was weird to me being somewhere like that, and you know, people out walking the streets and the shops and everything, and everyone has on masks, and everyone's giving each other their safety distance, and all of the places we went in had hand sanitizer. You know, you were required to sanitize your hands before you walked in. Keep the mask on so that you're not, you know, touching your face. And a lot of the places even took your temperature before you went in. It felt very safe as far as that respect. But it was just sad. I hope that this is not going to be much longer. But we had a great time, beautiful time. My whole point to that was to tell you we went with his mother and sister, my husband's mother and sister, and they had a little trip they wanted to do one day, and we weren't going with them that particular day, so we kind of just went on a ride, and we drove out to Pigeon Forge and went into an antique store. I spent way too long. My husband got frustrated with me, so then he wouldn't take me to any more. Because we spent the whole day at that one. But anyway, I got these really cool beads. They had a little bowl of these. There weren't many in it, but they were handmade little beads. I don't think they're old. I think that the lady's daughter made them. That was that owned the place, that was running the place. And I picked up a few of them. Used two there, hanging off these signatures. And I'll show those as I flip through, but I wanted to be sure to point them out from the outside because they're just so neat. They're handmade and they're cool. And I really like those. And while there at this, I shouldn't be getting off track. I'm supposed to be doing a flip through, sorry, but I found these old quilt pieces. The lady said that they were in an attic, so they're extra worn. And she had intended on trying to repair, and she did not. And so I bought several pieces. Love them. Aren't they so pretty? I really don't even know where to start with them or what to do. I've never used old quilt pieces before. Again, this reminded me of Kay. She uses old quilts, and I thought these were just gorgeous. In my mind, my initial thought was to put, you know, art paper in and literally use it as an art book and, you know, that kind of thing. Still don't know yet what I'm going to do with those. This is kind of outside of my comfort zone there, but those were really cool. Got those. And got, I think, 2 pieces of the fabric that's in here at that antique store. But that's that little story. So anyway, let's go ahead and do our flip through. If I leave anything out, if you see anything and you have questions, just let me know. I'll have all the information listed, you know, in the Etsy link, and like measurements and all of that will be listed, number of pages. So if I forget to say anything, you can find it. But when you open the journal up, I did the little writing style journal here on the front cover. And the way I did this one, this is not the way I will keep this if I end up keeping this book. I am going to list this in my Etsy, and I'm giving it until Christmas. If it doesn't sell, I'm going to pull this from my Etsy. But this right here is something, I made this removable for now. It's one of the Billfold journals that I had started making Billfold journals about a month or so ago. I believe my last video, in fact, is a Billfold journal. So I made a Billfold journal. It's a little bit, you know, it's less embellished than the ones that are standalone journals. But again, I couldn't allow this one to get too thick with the way it's being used here. But it does slide out. The way I personally would do this is I would snip these pieces off here and leave them on here kind of as accents. I would attach papers onto the cover. I did slide one here. But I would attach actual papers here and then as backgrounds. And then I would glue this on. But if someone does purchase this journal, I thought they might want to have the option of sliding this out, putting it in their purse, being able to tote it with them and do their journaling in it, or coloring or artwork or whatever, and filling it up with what they love before they attach it. But once it's completed by whoever owns the book, I think it would be beautiful to be permanently attached. Part of the reason is because, to me, when you slide it in, there's not a great way of making it real secure. I started to put like a band, elastic band around it. And then I even thought about attaching it with, you know, permanently on there. But again, whoever gets the journal might prefer to be able to take that out and use it and carry it with them. So it is removable for now. So when it slides into its little sleeve right there, like that, it's pretty secure. You just slide it in and, you know, it stays pretty secure. Let me do a quick flip through of it. So yeah, this piece of band here is really old. I can't tell you too much about it. I don't know what it is. It's just really cool. I have a bolt of this, and it's all fabric. It almost has a little wood look about it, but it is all fabric. And then the Billfold journal, it is, you can see the stitching here on the outside of the spine. It is leather, dark brown. And when you open it up, here in the front, this is a very tight fit, so I put a tab there, and I'll kind of pull it out a little bit so you can see it, but I'm not going to pull it all the way out because it is a tight fit in there. But I wanted to put this old photograph in there, and it's like a group of people sitting out in their lawn chairs. And again, I put the little piece of fabric there. Tucked back here is a alterations ticket. And then coming up the little pockets, I didn't overstuff them because, again, it's, you know, if you get this too thick, it'll make the whole book real thick the way it is now. But whoever gets the book may want to keep this separate. Don't know. But anyway, so I didn't overfill the pockets. Here is a tag here with beautiful seam binding, I believe is what that is. A little, like an advertising card. This is a playing card. Since it was so flower themed, I went with a flower playing card. 2 of hearts. And then a key. A coin holder. And then back here I've put a photo slide. I don't even know if we can see. I think that's upside down. Nope. It's hard to see what it is, but it's a photo slide. A yearbook picture. And a definition, like a language card. I don't even know what language that is. To me, that looks like, I don't know what that is. It might be Latin or, Hebrew. I don't know what that is. Hopefully somebody on here will know and will tell me. Let's see if I can get all that tucked back in. Okay, so that's the front flap of the wallet, the billfold. The back has a whole pocket back here and a zipper section. I didn't put anything in them. Again, I wanted to leave some space for someone to add their own items. And I was trying not to make it too thick because I went a little crazy with all my embellishments on the inside. So once I started filling up the pockets, it was hard to keep it tame. This is so cool. I actually have another one. I have another one laying right over here. This is a soap advertisement, and I do not know how that is, but it's like a little metal piece, and I use that as a page tab in the book over here. So it says BT Babbitt's, and I was told that was a soap from a long time ago. And so anyway, the little paper portion of it, I put right there. There's some tickets and a tab. Here's one of the old moo cows. I slid right in that pocket. Very thin. You have to be kind of careful with it. And then here is a feather. Oh, I'm not going to be able to not tell my story. So the journal I'm going to show you in a minute came from a friend of mine. Her name's Pam, and she has a YouTube site called Pandora's Junk Journals. And I have another friend named Pam that also does junk journals, so I oftentimes refer to this Pam as Pandora. So, just so you know. But anyway, I'm likely to slip up one day and call her Pandora. But her YouTube channel is Pandora's Junk Journals. And she did a video a while back, and she had found a hummingbird feather. And I've never even thought about a hummingbird feather. I mean, I've never even thought about just the fact that hummingbirds must have these little tiny feathers and how precious they are. And she did this video where she had found one. And when I say it was tiny, it was tiny. So, oh, I just love hummingbirds because, you know, I've mentioned before my mom loves hummingbirds and owls. But anyway, so I immediately running outside to all my hummingbird feeders, looked around. They're so tiny. How would you ever find one? But anyway, obviously could not find a hummingbird feather. I went online and started looking, and then, you know, my husband jokingly said, okay, if you find a hummingbird, if you find somebody that sells hummingbird feathers, then they've likely gotten them off of a dead hummingbird, so you really don't want that. And of course, the people, you know, they say their feathers are humanely found. But anyway, couldn't find them anyway, so that was irrelevant. But anyway, my point is, so my dad is real sick right now, and he's battling a disease, and it's been heavy on my heart. So I was outside like 3 or 4 days ago, walking around my yard, and I was, you know, deep in prayer, just kind of walking my dogs and praying. And as I'm deep in prayer, I just felt pulled over to my hummingbird feeder to see if it was empty of its nectar. So I went over there to the hummingbird feeder to see if there was any food in it, and it was empty. So I was taking it down, and I happened to just look on the ground, and I kid you not, in my mind I'm still praying, and it was like spotlights. There was this tiny hummingbird feather underneath my hummingbird feeder. I've got it in here. I'm going to show it to you. See? Look how tiny that is. I don't even know, is my camera going to focus on it? But y'all, all my life I've taught my kids, all my adult life I've taught my kids that God gives us little moments, little nature moments where He sends us little reminders and just little things to make us smile. And it just, the timing of me finding this when I was in the midst of a kind of a really heartfelt prayer from my dad, and then finding this feather, it was just my little reminder that I needed at that moment in time. And oh, it's just such a great story for my soul. But anyway, thought I would share that. So along this past few weeks, I have been looking for hummingbird feathers. Could not find one, but I did come across some tiny feathers. So here's one of the ones I came across. This was underneath my hummingbird feeder, but I also have a bird feeder close by, so I can't tell if this is just a little feather off of a regular bird, and I would think that it would be, because I think that's too big to be a hummingbird feather. But I still thought it was so cute, so I put it inside of a little protector sleeve. But you can see the size, the difference in size, because that's like a little whatever, and this is like a full feather, and you can see the difference in size. But it's still a tiny little feather, and I thought it was very pretty. So that whole long story was just to show this feather. Sorry. So I ramble. The journal itself, I've put the old fabric coming down the side of this page. Just grungy paper. Beautiful old fabric all through this. So this little journal right here has 40 writing surfaces. This is a label, a bottle label. And I've just attached it there to this page with a rusty paper clip. And I've just tried to use really neat coordinating styles of paper. I thought this was pretty behind this black. So this is some pretty black fabric. This is some beautiful lace trim that I have. Very old, very thin, like that. Here is a picture of a bird. And so up here, I put just a little piece of greenery. This was, it came in some dollhouse stuff. And so I believe it was supposed to be a tree for a dollhouse. So I used that there with this really thin fabric. Here is a dragonfly, like a resin, I believe. It's a dragonfly, and this page folds out. Wasn't sure if somebody would like to color, so I did it like that because I wanted the dragonfly to have this background like this. Didn't want to cut this in case someone does enjoy coloring. There's the back. This is some beautiful kind of retro style trim. Beautiful fabric. A little ticket here as a pull tab. Some type of ointment kind of label as a tab. There's a number as a tab. A postal stamp. The other side of that old material, the paper, and then this beautiful trim here. And then we're to the back of the journal, which we've already talked about, and I went into that really long story, sorry. So I'm going to go ahead and tuck the billfold back here in the front. It just slides in. You slide it as far as you want it to go. I like it to be kind of lined up there because I have found that, to me, that's just a pretty position for the outside of the book. And then I tuck this piece of paper kind of behind it just for kind of an added touch. Okay, we're going into the art section of the book now, And I have covered it with this crochet piece. Someone messaged, because I've used this in other books, pieces of this, and someone said that they believe it was a pillow front. So, really cool. Here's the first page, and on the first page, I've done some pretty greenery on the paper, and I did use multimedia paper throughout here, and there's this other paper here that's watercolor paper. So my point being that some of this I've textured up with gesso, and if you wanted to gesso over it, you could sand that down, gesso, cover all that up here, and do a sketch or painting on any of these pages. So that's kind of what I like to do there. And so I've just kind of collaged the paper and then covered it with a little snippet with paper and snippets of fabric. And then here's one of the old safety pins. I think they call those laundry pins. And I tried to position that so that when the book is closed, it peeks over the top there. And then I used a key, which hangs here, but I did kind of tuck it into this crocheted piece here. I kind of tucked the key in to keep it from flopping around, although it's cool flopping around too. And then this, I've started trying to add these little pieces in my journal, my personal journals. And so I did put one here. I've mentioned it in a previous video. The whole concept of this is that you can slide this out, write a secret message inside of it or an inspirational note, and slide it back in and have it just hang there like that. And then no one, you know, can see unless they go through taking it out what's written in there. And I did leave it blank. The back of the page has a tree and some sheer material coming down that center. This is an old, I'm not even sure if this is a handkerchief or a napkin, but it's there. This is a wooden flower, and I've kind of put a little bit of stain and paint on it, and it's really pretty from the front. You can see how it kind of peeks through on the layers. Coming down the center, this is some really pretty mushroom fabric. Hold that up so you can see. And then this is where one of those clay beads, and I tried to correlate the different charms with the different materials. Some material here, and the other side of that napkin, the art page. More collaging. This is between the signatures, and just so you know, this is a perfect place to tuck pencils or your pen or paint brushes, whatever you use when you're writing. That's a perfect place to tuck a pencil or pen or paintbrush. Beautiful crochet doily. This is that metal piece of the soap advertisement that I showed you earlier, right here. And I've used it as a tab on this paper, on this page, I should say. So that's what that is, a little piece of metal. And then this here is the other clay bead that you can see from the outside of the journal. And over here I've kind of collaged a fabric tag with a piece of lace and an old pin. Now this pin, the bottom piece here, it doesn't push in, you know, like a typical pin does. This one actually screws, so you have to unscrew that if you want to take that off. That's screwed on with collaging different papers. And again, you can gesso over this if you don't want this to show. You can paint on it or sketch. I've talked about that in previous videos, so if this is your first time watching, you might want to flip back. I have actually demonstrated in some of my other videos how you can use those, you know, abilities of gessoing and sketching or painting. This is a hanky with embroidery on it. this is so pretty to me. This kind of has a Victorian look about it. So I did put 2 beads hanging from this center that kind of correlates with these colors. There's a glass, kind of a seafoam green. Beautiful color with that green there. And then this is a rose, is that called iridescent? I'm losing my wording, but anyway, beautiful rose colored bead. And I just thought they were so pretty with that fabric. Just tied those there. And this is so neat. Everyone, if you've watched my videos, you know how I love trains. And I stumbled across these. These are some type of train. Here's one. So they were called train ties. And I don't know what that, I guess somehow they secured stuff like a twisty tie kind of thing. But these are metal. And you can see they have writing on them. Real old. And so I attached one down this page, and I wanted it to show when the book is closed. So I had it kind of poking up a little bit so it peeks out of the top. See? Like that. And I attached it to the side of this page. And I did actually put a couple of stitches here. I was afraid it was going to be too heavy for this page, which, again, I've said it in videos. For me, when that happens, to me, that's part of the beauty of this style of book, is you can actually just tear this off because the pages have this torn look anyway. And to me, that's the beauty of it. But I don't know if other people feel that way. So I went ahead and stitched it on, and I backed the paper to help secure it and make it stronger. I'll show you that part when I flip the page. But I did want to show you this charm real quick. So I tied this charm on the bottom. Let me see if I can hold it up so you can see. It is so pretty. Oh, I'm out of frame. Sorry. I tell you what, I'm out of practice. I go a few weeks without making a video, and I'm not doing very well. But there's the charm. There's the Eiffel Tower on one side. I can't see from my angle right now because I'm holding it up to my phone, and my camera bracket is blocking my view, so I can't see it at all. But I attached that there. This was on a bracelet, the charm was. And then I attached some wax thread and put this little seed bead pearl seed bead on there. And this little silver thing, I don't even know where that came from. So I was putting this on, and I dropped it. When I was trying to sew it onto the page, I dropped it. And when I picked it up, this was laying with it. So I don't know if it was attached to it. I went through my other ones, and there's not any. So I don't know if it was just snagged onto it in the packaging. I have no idea. But anyway, so my weird brain, when I saw it, I immediately said, well, it's meant to be with that. So I sewed it on to, I tied it on to the little charm there and hung it from there. So that's that little silly story. When you flip the page, I attached paper here because I wanted to secure this page for the weight of this metal. So I attached paper and did it like a little flip pad with just some grungy paper. Like that. Okay. And then here's the other side of that hanky or napkin. And then on this page, this cross I got in Pigeon Forge at that antique store. Thought it was beautiful. My friend Pam, Pandora's Junk Journals, Pam, she did a braid with some of her materials and used it as a bookmark. So I loved that idea, so I did it. And this was just a little piece of one I did. Obviously not big enough to be a bookmark, so I just did it and put it in with a little cluster right there up on the corner of the page. Oh, and I wanted to remember to give credit on the twisty paper here. I mention her all the time, Kathy with Rust Paper Scissors. She sells this stuff, this twisted paper. And that's what I use for that. And I like the colored one for to use in clusters. So that's good to know. Didn't want to forget to do that. The last page here, I've put my little stamp there. And it's just collaged with gesso, textured up. And then here's the back part of that pillow front with some extra added strings that you can have. Find my scissors and snip that off. That's going to get on my nerves. Can't find my regular scissors. Let's see. There we go. Okay, that completes the flip through. So let me set that aside. So the other thing I wanted to show you all real quick was, I want to make sure I don't cause my little hummingbird feather to blow away. So Pam with Pandora's Junk Journals, so she and I did a swap. And again, I can't go page by page on this because I've got personal information in here. But this book is amazing. She made this cross. Is that not gorgeous? And she tells the story about that in her video. I will link it below. All of these old buttons. And one of the things that just I love is she puts my name throughout the book in verses. And she talks about that in her video. So one thing that she doesn't say in her video, she kind of skips around the subject a little bit. But let's see if I can peek in here. So throughout this book, she has put writings that she did. Her husband's a pastor of a church, and she did writings in some type of book that they had, I'm assuming, at their church. So she sent copies of some of her writings, and I'm not going to share them. It's not my place to, I don't believe. So they are absolutely amazing. So the things I've added to this book is just things of how this just really pleased my soul. I just, even to the point that right here, when she was doing her video of the flip through, she had let me know that she was doing it if I wanted to watch it before I received it. Y'all, I kid you not, I cannot even make this up. So me and my husband, on his off days, which aren't many off days, but when he's off, we'll sit in our den and have coffee together. And he usually reads the Bible and we do our Bible study, and we have our Christian radio playing. And there is a song by Matt, I think Matt Redman, The Lord God Almighty. Anyway, I kid you not, she is doing the flip through. I'm watching the video with no sound because my husband's still doing his Bible study, and I didn't want to interfere with that. So I'm literally watching the video on mute. She opens up the book, and just as that chorus was singing on the song, my eyes are locking in on this, and it is the exact line out of that song. I literally start crying, and I pull up my phone, and it's too early to send her a text because she's on a different time zone. But anyway, so I immediately start typing her out a text telling her about this amazing coinkydink. Y'all, she printed the text out and put it in this book. Do you know how amazing that is? She literally printed my text out and put it in this book. And it's just little things like that absolutely make me smile. It makes this so personal for me, and I am so thankful. So I really, really encourage you to check her out. She is just a dear, dear person. Another thing I wanted to point out, if I can, yeah, I haven't added anything to this page. So she slow stitched this. She did embroidery. Do you know how long that had to have taken her? And she put it in my book. I am just, it is just beautiful, beautiful. She even, on this one page, and I think I've already put stuff on there. Let's see. Nope. Yeah. Okay. So on this one page, she put all these dates that are important to me, and she put it under family. Oh, just absolutely amazing job. And I'm so thankful, and I wanted to kind of show you that and encourage you to check her out. I'll put the link to her flip through below, and maybe one day she'll go through and share some of her writings. They're just, oh, I can't tell you what treasures they are. I have literally read them. I feel like I've memorized. Okay, so I think that's everything. Did I actually make it through the video? Okay, we survived. If you're still hanging in with me, thank you. I hope I didn't ramble too much. Thank y'all so much for watching. If I've left anything out about Bouquet, please check below. If I've left anything out, I'll try to add it below, or different little specifications about it will be, you know, on the Etsy listing if you have a question. Otherwise, you can just ask me in the comments below. And if you like the video, please hit the thumbs up button for me. And I would love if you would subscribe. I am trying to build up my friends on the YouTube channel. Anyway, thank you so much, and